Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Melissa here with a new video for you. In this video, we'll dive into part 1 of Yusuke Urameshi from the Yu Yu Hakusho anime. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, just sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So let's get started. Origins. Yusuke's origins are very common. His entire life, he was seen as nothing more than a thug and a bully. His classmates were all scared of him and always cowered whenever he was around. He was dubbed the worst thug of Sadayoshiki Junior High due to the incredibly high amount of fighting he did. In his time at the school, Yusuke only had one friend, Keiko Yukimura. He has known Keiko since they were very young, and they both had a respect for the other and an unspoken affection between them. Yusuke's days were filled with mostly skipping school and fighting. The rare occasions he went to school, he was often found on the rooftop sleeping to skip classes. This is how he passed his time until one day when he was 14, he left the school after being berated by Keiko for skipping and his other teacher's general lack of interest in his being there. When he was out walking around, he met a young boy named Masaru. Masaru was playing with his ball, and Yusuke yelled at him for playing so close to the road. When Masaru started to look upset, Yusuke made faces and played along with the boy. After a while, Yusuke sent Masaru on his way to not play near the road. When he left, he saw Masaru playing with the ball still near the road, and after a moment, the ball gets kicked into the road where a speeding car was barreling toward the boy, and without thinking, Yusuke leapt in front of the car, pushing Masaru out of the way. Doing this, Yusuke was hit and killed in the accident. Resurrection and recruitment. When he died, Yusuke was met by a young girl who introduced herself as Botan. She explained that she was the Grim Reaper, and because what Yusuke did was so unexpected, the king of the afterlife was giving him a chance to come back to life. To come back, he had to hatch a spirit egg, but that task came with its own set of rules. If Yusuke was pure and good, the egg would hatch into a benevolent creature that would guide Yusuke's soul back into his body. But if he had a negative outlook and a bad attitude, then the egg would hatch into a horrible monster that would devour Yusuke's soul. A few days after, Yusuke was giving energy to the egg. His house was set on fire, and Keiko rushed in to save Yusuke's body, but the fire spread quickly and soon cut off her exit. To save Keiko, Yusuke tossed the spirit egg into the fire, parting the flames, and allowed Keiko to escape with his body. Yusuke thought his chance to be brought back to life was over, with the egg gone. But Koenma, son of great King Enma, Lord of Spirit World, informed Yusuke that his chance to come back to life was going to be that next night, when there would be an eclipse that would allow his spirit to re-enter his body. But if Yusuke missed the opportunity, he would have to wait 50 years for another chance. Yusuke had to enter the dreams of his mother Atsuko, Keiko, and his rival, Kazuma Kuwabara, to let them know that before midnight his body would glow and he would need a kiss to allow him to be resurrected. The day wears on, and it seems like no one believed their dreams. Keiko checks Yusuke and sees that he is not glowing and thought her dream was just a dream. Shortly after, Keiko rushes to the hospital to be with her mother where she stays the rest of the day. Yusuke enters her dream again and emphasizes the fact that this is his only chance to come back for 50 years, and there is very little time to kiss him. Keiko rushes to Yusuke's house and barely manages to kiss Yusuke in time. When Yusuke comes back, he thinks that his life was going to go back to normal and he could once more be a carefree delinquent. When he is sitting in a cafe, he sees a man and his gang tormenting Kuwabara, but the main punk had demon horns barely showing. Yusuke confronts the man and ends up knocking the demon from his body. Yusuke ends up grabbing the demon then. When Botan shows up, she offers Yusuke a job as a spirit detective of Earth. First case artifact retrieval. Yusuke gets his first official case as spirit detective a few days later. It seems that 3 ancient artifacts were stolen from King Enma's vault and were currently on Earth. The items that were stolen were very ancient things from the time of creation called the Orb of Bost, which allows the user to take the soul of a human directly from their body. The Forlorn Hope grants the user any wish they may have, but at a steep cost. And the Sword of Shadows, anything cut by the sword will transform you into a demon. Yusuke learns that he now has access to his spirit energy from his time being dead. Using some tools that Botan gave him, Yusuke manages to track down the Orb of Bost and the demon that holds it, a Kuyukanki named Goiki. Goiki is not an intelligent demon, preferring to use his brute strength to bring down his opponents. When Yusuke finds Goiki, he transforms into his demon form of an ogre that stands nearly 10 feet tall. After a very rough battle and some incredible luck, Yusuke manages to kill Goiki and retrieve the orb. After his battle with Goiki, and while still severely injured, Yusuke is confronted by the next demon of the thief group named Kurama. Kurama tells Yusuke he does not want to fight Yusuke, and instead will gladly give Yusuke the Forlorn Hope, so long as he lets Kurama make a single wish first. When he meets back up with Kurama the next night to retrieve the mirror, Yusuke learns that Kurama is a demon in a human body, and his human mother is dying. Kurama wants to use the mirror to save her life, and is willing to pay the price the mirror requests of his own life to do so. Yusuke, upset at Kurama's willingness to sacrifice himself, offers his life to the Forlorn Hope in place of Kurama so he could live with the mother that he wanted to save. The Forlorn Hope merely took a portion of Yusuke and Kurama's life force due to their willingness to sacrifice their life for others. The last demon makes his presence known to Yusuke very shortly after by kidnapping Keiko. The demon is a fire apparition named Hiei, who is known to be an incredibly ruthless killer. With Keiko kidnapped, Hiei lured Yusuke into a confrontation, making him bring the 2 other artifacts with him. When Yusuke gets there, he learns that Hiei had cut Keiko with the Shadow Blade and she was transforming into a demon, with the only antidote for the cut being in the hilt of the Shadow Blade itself. Hiei unleashes his power and shows his Jagon Eye, a synthetic eye placed in his forehead that amplifies his demonic powers and grants him additional abilities. In their fight, Yusuke manages to get a lucky shot on Hiei using the Forlorn Hope and deflects his spirit gun attack to hit Hiei in the back, stopping his rampage in the human world. With the 3 artifacts in his possession and Hiei in custody, Yusuke concludes his first mission as spirit detective. Second case, Rando and Genkai. A few weeks after completing his first case, Yusuke is approached by Botan with his newest case. The human psychic Genkai is looking for a student to pass along her spirit wave technique to, and is holding a tournament to determine who her student was going to be. Botan tells Yusuke that a psychic hunting demon named Rando is going to be at the tournament, and he has already killed 99 psychics and taken their abilities for his own. Rando is incredibly powerful, and Spirit World could not let him gain the abilities of the Spirit Wave to bolster his already immense power any further. Though Yusuke is reluctant, Botan bribes him with tickets to a wrestling match when he comes out victorious. Yusuke makes his way to Genkai's compound and finds that Kuwabara was also there. The first task they must do is to make their way through a forest. Inside the forest are many traps and false pathways, and the combatants must use their spirit energy to find the proper way to the compound, avoiding the traps and strong demons that inhabit the forests. Genkai gives the participants 12 hours to get through the forest and make it to her compound. In the anime, Yusuke goes over the time limit to make it to the compound by mere minutes, but is allowed a pass by Genkai due to Yusuke fighting and defeating the demon Baldock in the middle of the forest. In the manga, Yusuke makes it on time, but just barely. The next task given to the participants are a set of games that help gauge their spirit awareness, spiritual power, and their technical usage. Genkai uses the data from these games to make pairings for a single elimination tournament, where the combatants can use any weapons and techniques at their disposal. The first round is done completely in the dark, requiring the fighters to use their awareness to sense their opponent and defeat them. In his match, Yusuke is matched with a human martial artist named Kabano. Kabano uses a sensory deprivation mask to heighten his awareness by blocking his other senses. Yusuke manages to defeat Kabano using a cigarette that was tossed without being put out, being placed on Kabano's belt, allowing Yusuke to find him in the dark and hit him with his spirit gun. In the second round, they move outside to an old battlefield that raises spiritual power and restores spent power quickly due to the immense number of spirits that inhabit the field. In this round, Yusuke finds himself against the ninja Kazemaru, who uses a technique like Yusuke's spirit gun, but blasts from his entire palm. Kazemaru also does not have the limitation on his technique, like Yusuke does on his number of shots that he can fire. Though their battle is tough for Yusuke, he manages to pull out the win by falling into a lake to dodge Kazemaru's attack, and countering with his own spirit gun. In the final round, Yusuke finds himself fighting the monk Shorin, who is the demon Rando in disguise. In his human disguise, Rando was no match for Yusuke, but once Rando took on his true form, he started to overwhelm Yusuke. Eventually, Yusuke manages to defeat Rando by falling into a sinkhole and getting moss stuck in his ears so he couldn't hear Rando when he chanted one of his stolen techniques, making Rando fall victim to it. With Rando defeated, Yusuke is named winner and taken as the disciple of Genkai and the recipient of her spirit wave technique. Before we get back to the video, I'd like to talk about our new channel Celestia, our channel dedicated to all things Dungeons & Dragons. Currently, we have a series breaking down the different spells in D&D, and soon we'll be starting some new series as well. So if you're a fan of D&D or have an interest in learning about it, check it out. Additionally, if there is something you've always wanted to see get made into a video, head over there and leave a comment mentioning it. Case 3. Maze Castle and the Four Saint Beasts. Yusuke spent 6 months training under Genkai, learning from her and working on mastering her spirit wave. When he returns home, Yusuke and Keiko go on a date to the movies before Botan shows up and informs Yusuke that 4 demons known as the Saint Beasts were launching an attack on the human world to force Koenma to open a barrier placed around the demon city. The beasts are sending demonic bugs, known as Makai insects, to infect humans, making them act violently and off-base emotions very similar to zombies. Yusuke and Kuwabara are set off to the demon city to attack Mei's castle and stop the Saint Beasts. When they arrive, they are met by Hiei and Kurama as their backup. They make their way into Mei's castle and make their way through defeating the Saint Beasts one by one until their leader, Suzaku, is the only one who remains. Yusuke was sent ahead of the rest of the team due to Suzaku sending out cultivated humans to slow down Yusuke and team. Yusuke makes it to the top of Mei's castle and confronts Suzaku. Suzaku shows Yusuke his power in the form of his favorite techniques, Storm of Torment, where he unleashes lightning that homes in on its target, and Prism of 7, where he makes 6 copies of himself, each with their own will and spirit energy. Yusuke manages to take out the copies of Suzaku with a powerful shotgun blast that he poured all his energy into. When Suzaku absorbed the spirit energy of his 6 copies, he healed himself back to full power, leaving Yusuke in a severely depleted state against a full-powered Saint Beast. Yusuke draws upon his own life force and unleashes a final attack against Suzaku, managing to kill all 7 copies of Suzaku. With Suzaku dead, the team manages to destroy the Makai whistle that Suzaku was using to command the bugs on the human world. When Kurabara sees Yusuke on the floor dead, he transfers some of his own life to save Yusuke and bring him back. Case 4. Yukina and the Black Club. A week after the end of the exploits in Mei's castle, Hiei confronts Yusuke on his way to school and delivers a mysterious videotape on behalf of Koenma. After school, Yusuke and Kuwabara watch the videotape with Botan at Kuwabara's and learn of his newest mission. An ice apparition named Yukina is being held in a secure compound by a human black market dealer named Ganzu Tarakane and is torturing the girl to profit off special gemstones made from her tears. Yusuke, Kurabara, and Botan in the anime make their way to the forest surrounding Tarakane's mansion and are quickly assaulted by demon security he hired. They make their way through the squads of demons and make their way into the mansion proper. Inside the compound, they are assaulted by a demon group known as the Triad. Yusuke handily defeats the first member, Miyuki, in unarmed combat. With Kurabara's help, he defeats the second member, Inmaki, with a well-timed shotgun blast. In the manga, the third member, Goku Monkey, is seen being defeated by a kick from Yusuke and Kurabara together. In the anime, he tried to kidnap Kurabara before she escaped and was quickly taken out by Yusuke and Kurabara. After defeating the Triad, the team faces Tarokane's top bodyguards, the Toguro brothers. They face the brothers while being watched by the mysterious Black Club, who has bet on the outcome of this match. Yusuke and Kurabara are on the ropes before they get off a combined attack, using Yusuke's spirit gun attack to Kurabara's back, propelling him into Toguro and impaling him with his spirit sword. With Toguro dead, the Black Club dispersed, and the rest of Tarokane's staff evacuated. Yusuke and Kurabara are healed by Yukina, as Hiei had knocked out what remained of the security force. With Yukina rescued, Yusuke closed out his 4th case. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has got you covered. Our We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, then I'd like to extend you an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being that we only accept members from 16 years and up to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interests by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and have a great day.